right, we're on lesson 3, which is the percent equation, day number 2. So just as a little reminder, when we look at the percent equation for this year, we're going to be doing part equals percent times whole. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in and do a little bit of an example to start off about how we started yesterday identifying part, percent, and whole. All right, so remember we were underlining the part, circling the percent in the problem, and boxing in the whole. So let's go ahead and read this problem. It says a bag of candy contains 300 pieces, of which 28% are red. How many pieces are red? All right, so it's a total big bag of candy. In total, there are 300 pieces. So that's going to be what we're boxing in for the whole. 28% are red. So that's our percent. And how many are red? Well, that's what we don't know. That's our part. So first question just says which quantity is the whole. So that's the 300 we boxed in. So remember, our whole has to do with our total, and our part is something specific based on the total. So which of the terms is unknown? The number of red pieces. Which represents the part. Now we're going to go ahead and solve an equation to find this. So remember, write your equation first. Part equals percent times whole. And we're going to create our little cheat sheet. Part equals x. Percent equals, now remember, 28% has to get changed to a decimal. So that becomes 0.28 when we divide by 100. And the whole is 300. So we're going to plug that in. X equals 0.28 times 300. And using the calculator, we're just going to solve. So 0.28 times 300 should give us 84. So 84 of the pieces are red. All right, example 2. This time it says a bag of candy contains 300 pieces, of which 28% are red. How many pieces are not red? All right, so it says write an equation to represent the number of pieces that are not red. So just keep in mind this says writing an equation. So we're going to use our part equals percent over whole, part equals percent times whole equation. So box in our whole. And I'm just going to circle the whole thing that it says here. 28% are red, and it wants to know how many pieces are not red. Well, we can't use this 28% here because we know 28% are red. But we can figure out how many are not red by subtracting. So 100 minus 28 would tell us that 78% of the pieces are red. Are not red. So we're going to use this percent, this 78%, in the equation. So part equals x. Percent is 78%, but we have to change it to a decimal. So 0.78. And our whole is still going to stay 300. So let's plug it in. X equals 0.78 times 300. Multiply it out in the calculator. You should get 216. So now it says Jalil told his math teacher that he could use the answer from example 1, the first example we did, and just some mental math to find the number of pieces. Explain what Jalil meant by that. So I want you to take a second and pause the video and think about what Jalil means and write that down. When you're all set and have an answer, unpause the video and see if we have the same thing. All right, so by looking at it, you can see that you can just subtract the total red pieces from the whole. Because we know the amount of red pieces in the whole, so we could have just done 300 minus 84. And we should get the same thing of 216 pieces, right? But we can also use the percent formula to find that. Next page. All right, so now we're going to change things up and find a different part of our equation. So it says Zoe inflated 24 balloons for decorations at the middle school dance. If Zoe inflated 15% of the total number of balloons inflated for the dance, how many balloons are there total? Solve the problem using the percent formula. So let's go ahead and write it down. Part equals percent times whole. All right, so she inflated 24 balloons for the decorations, but it says Zoe inflated 15% of the total number. How many balloons are there total? So that total is my whole. These 24 balloons that she's already inflated is the part, because we want to know how many in total. And the 15% is our percentage. Let's go ahead and set up our cheat sheet. So part equals 24. Percent is going to be 15%, but remember we have to change that to a decimal, so divide by 100.15. And our whole is x. Let's plug that in. Make sure you are lining it up exactly like how we have it. So p should be replaced with 24, percent should be replaced with 0.15, and then times x. So this is 0.15 times x. Using our inverse operations, we have to divide both sides by 0.15. So divide by 0.15 on both sides. Those cancel. 24 divided by 0.15 is going to give us 160 equals x. So she has 160 balloons in total that she needs to blow up. All right, let's go to the next one. It says, Haley is making admission tickets to the middle school dance. So far, she has made 112 tickets, and her plan is to make 320 tickets. What percent of the admission tickets has Haley produced so far? Solve the problem using the percent formula. So right now we know she has made 112 tickets, but her total is 320 tickets. So this 320 tickets should be our whole. That's how many she has to do in total. 112 tickets is the part. They want us to know what percent of admission tickets, so that's where we get that 320 is the total, is the whole, has she produced so far. All right, so we're going to use our percent formula. Part equals percent times whole, and set up our cheat sheet. Part equals 112. The percent is what we are finding this time, and the whole is 320. So let's plug that in. 112 equals x times 320. Same thing here, x times 320, so let's divide by 320 on both sides. Let's go ahead and solve for x. So 112 divided by 320. This is going to give us a decimal of 0.35. Now, because we are finding the percent, that means we have 2 steps here. We're going to get our answer, but this is not a percent, so I have to go ahead and change this by multiplying by 100. So this is actually an answer of 35%.